Welcome everyone. This month's monthly mini will be a little ghost. I am going to be using this Lion Brand DIY glow yarn in natural, but you could also just use a white yarn, a white acrylic yarn, a medium weight 4 if you would like. You will need an E-hook, some black embroidery thread for the eyebrow details, and I'm going to be using purple as this accent color because we will be placing one stitch up under the eye if you would like to do that as well. I also have some straight pins for pinning the arms, although that's optional. If you feel like you can hold them in place during assembly, that is maker preference. So let's go ahead and start the ghost body with the white yarn. I'm starting with a magic ring. If you would like, you can also use the chain 2 method where you chain 2 and place all of the stitches from round 1 into the second chain from the hook. If you're doing the magic ring, we'll go ahead and start the magic ring with 8 single crochets into the center of that ring for round 1 of our body. Okay, go ahead and tighten your ring by gently pulling that starting tail. For round 2, we are going to place an increase into that first stitch of the round, which is 2 single crochets into that stitch. Let's go ahead and slide a stitch marker into that first one, and then we're going to place 1 single crochet into the next stitch. And so that sequence will continue around with 1 increase in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next. So by the time that we get to the end of round 2, we will have 12 single crochets. Okay, for round 3, we're going to repeat that same sequence. So 1 single crochet, or pardon me, 1 increase into the next stitch. Place our stitch marker back into the round there, first stitch of the round, and then 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Repeat around. By the time that we get to the end of round 3, we'll have made 18 single crochets. Okay, round 4, we're going to place 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches, and then we will increase. We're going to repeat that sequence 2 more times with 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches, followed by an increase. So by the time we get to the end of this round, we'll have made 21 stitches. Rounds 5 through 12, we're going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So you'll have 21 single crochets in each round for rounds 5 through 12. So let's go ahead and finish those rounds now, and then we will meet back at the end of round 12, and I will demonstrate how to complete the final round of the ghost body. Okay, here we come to the end of round 12, and let's begin round 13, which will be the final round of the ghost body. For round 13, we are going to be working in the front loop open only. So if you look at your round here, your stitches, you'll have 2 loops if you were to do a normal stitch. So that first loop is the front loop, and this one back here is the back. So in round 13, we're only working in this front loop. We'll begin the round with a slip stitch. Let's make a slip stitch into that first front loop. Place our stitch marker. And then into the next front loop only, we're going to single crochet, half double crochet into the same front loop, and then single crochet again into the same front loop. Slip stitch into the next front loop. And you'll see that we start to get this little ripple. And we're going to do that all the way around, and we're going to repeat that sequence. So slip stitch into the next stitch. Again, we're working in the front loop only. Single crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, and then slip stitch into the next stitch. Okay, let's just continue that all the way around. Okay, here we are in the final 3 stitches of the round. So complete this one, and then slip stitch into the last front loop only. And then we are going to fasten off, remove your stitch marker, and we'll weave in this yarn tail for the ghost body. But here is what we have so far. So let's weave in that end, and then let's create the face. Okay, for the ghost face, you're going to need some black embroidery thread, an accent color, and 2 7mm or 8 if you have those, whichever you prefer, safety eyes. We're going to place the safety eyes between rounds 6 and 7, about 2 stitches apart. So slide them in there. I recommend waiting to place the washers to the back of the eyes until you have finished all of the face details. It will just make it easier, because once those backs are on there, you can't move them. And then sewing on the details can sometimes be a little bit more challenging if they're in the way. So next I'm going to thread my yarn needle. You can use an embroidery needle as well if you prefer, with some embroidery thread. And I'm going to make the eyebrows right above the eye at a little bit of a slant. Now if you want, you could make the eyebrows look any way that you like to change the facial expression of your ghost. I like him to look a little bit apprehensive, so I have them kind of angled off to the side a bit. Just like that. Remove my yarn needle now that I have the eyebrows in place. You can also create a mouth if you would like. I'm not going to on this ghost, but you certainly can with the black embroidery yarn if you'd like. I'm going to secure that in place by tying those thread ends together in a double knot, and I'm going to tuck them up inside. Trim away the excess ends. And then let's do the accent color under the eye. I'm going to do this purple, thread my yarn needle, and just place 1 stitch right under each eye. Oh, sorry, I got caught. Okay, once those little accent stitches are secured in place where you want them, go ahead and tie those yarn tails together, just like we did with the thread. And you can tuck them up inside. Finally, let's go ahead and place the safety eyes onto the back, or the washers, pardon me, onto the back of the safety eyes. Just, you'll feel them pop in place. A little click once they're on there. Now once they're secure, here's where we have the base. Let's go ahead and make the arms. Okay, for the arms, we are going to, again, be working in the magic ring, or you can do the chain 2 method. Arms are fairly small, so let's go ahead and make 6 single crochets into the center of that magic ring. Tighten your ring a little bit. The arms are only 3 rounds total, so we will go ahead and start round 2, and it is simply 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So by the end of round 2, you'll have made 6 single crochets. When you're working in the round, your work will have a tendency to curl wrong side out, so just kind of push it in as you go along. If you need to tighten the circle when you're done, you can, because you can see, like right now, I have this in the center, and I'll just tighten it up here in a minute when I'm done. You'll know your work is right side out if your starting yarn tail is on the inside. Okay, let's go ahead and make our final round here, round 3. 1 single crochet again in each stitch around. So you'll have 6 single crochets when you get to the end of the round. And our final stitch of round 3. So after round 3, we're going to fasten off, leaving a tail of yarn for sewing. We can remove our stitch marker, and we can pull that starting tail that's on the inside in there to tighten our start, to close our arm, and then you can trim that away because we don't stuff the arms. So go ahead and make your second arm, and then we'll meet back here to make the final piece of the ghost, which is the ghost bottom. Okay, here is the ghost bottom. Let's get started. Again, magic ring or chain 2 method if you prefer. We are going to place 7 single crochets into this center of the string. Go ahead and tighten your ring. For round 2, we're going to increase in each stitch around. So by the time you get to the end of round 2, you will have made 14 single crochets. Tighten that up. And for the last round of the ghost bottom, we're going to place 1 single crochet into the next stitch of the round, followed by an increase. and we will continue that sequence all the way around. So by the time we get to the last stitch, or the last stitch of the round, we will have made 21 single crochets. Okay, here we go with our last increase in the last stitch of that round. Let's fasten off, leaving a tail of yarn for sewing. Remove our stitch marker and tighten the center of that ring. You can go ahead and trim away the starting tail a little bit. It'll be tucked inside and hidden. Let's move on with assembly. So now that we have all of our completed pieces of our mini ghost, we've got his body, his two arms, and the bottom piece. Let's go ahead and stuff him just a little. You want to stuff enough that the ghost will hold its shape, but not have the stitches gap, and not have the bottom piece bulge out after we attach it, so that it will sit flat. Okay, so once he's stuffed, we can go ahead and attach his arms. So I put them just one round below the eye on each side, and you can pin those in place if you find that helpful. So let's go ahead and attach this one. Oh, got his tail stuck. And then we'll attach the second one. So I've got it pinned in place just right there, one round or so below his eye. And I'm going to come up under a stitch from round 3 and just gently pull. You don't have to pull super tight because you don't want to cause any dimpling in the arms. And you just keep moving all the way around. I try to take my time when I'm attaching pieces, and if I don't like it, I will take it off and redo it. Once you have the arm attached, you can just weave that needle through the body to secure the thread and trim it away. Let's go ahead and repeat that on the other side. Okay, final step here. We've got our arms attached. Let's attach our bottom piece. So go ahead and thread your yarn needle. We're going to put it right here on the bottom, and you'll see those back loop only stitches from round 13 of the ghost body, and that's the stitches we're going to go into to attach this bottom piece to close up. So we're whip stitching, so go under a stitch of round 3 of the ghost bottom piece, and we're going to go just under the back loop of round 13 of the ghost body, and then go into the next one, the next back loop, and under a stitch from round 3 of the bottom piece. Back and forth like that all the way around until we have this piece attached to the bottom of the ghost. Once you get almost closed, you can see if you want to place any more fiber fill into your ghost before you do the last few stitches to completely close the ghost up. Just keep in mind that, again, you don't want to overstuff the ghost so that the stitches either gap or the bottom piece bulges, so that you can't have it sit nicely on a flat surface if you want. Okay, once you get all the way around, you can just weave that through the ghost bodies to secure. Trim away the end there. Reshape it if you need to. And there you go, your mini ghost.